Hi, in this video we are going to talk about carbon credit trading mechanism and some of its major flaws and criticism. So, at the dawn of industrialization, many developed countries today started their development using fossil fuels and emitting greenhouse gases. Today, when certain developing nations are trying to reach that developed tag, they are being asked to reduce emissions because there is a serious real problem of greenhouse gas emissions, global warming, climate change. The issue is it feels unfair. They get to develop using fossil fuels and certain countries don't. That is the issue here. The solution was green development using renewable energy, electrification, decarbonization. But the problem again was huge short term costs. Today, green technology is has an upfront cost and it at least looks expensive, except the fact that solar energy today is the cheapest energy in long term. So the question was, who is going to give money, who is going to finance this green technology? There are various methods to get money. One of them is carbon credit trading. The idea is simple and we will try to understand it in a very basic sense. If I help in reducing or offsetting carbon from the atmosphere, carbon is the whole problem here. I mean, carbon is not the enemy, but more carbon is the enemy. Okay. So if I help in offsetting carbon, I get some carbon credits. And someone who wants to continue polluting or wants to pollute more has to buy those credits. And I get that money. And hopefully that money goes into funding other green technology projects. This is the idea. The problem at hand is, first, the money never reaches its intended destination. We have to approach this with a lot of pragmatism. There is corruption, there are loopholes in the delivery mechanism, so money never reaches there. Second problem is that the calculations which are used to calculate how much carbon is being offsetted by a certain green project, it's complex and it depends from country to country. For example, in Europe, with better environmental standards than South Asian countries like India, they are going to value carbon credits much more than India. This is also the reason why developed nations tend to move their polluting industries into developing nations, because developing nations have lower environmental regulation and standards. For example, the Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam Yojana in India has been criticized for its ineffectiveness. You are comparing planting some saplings to a 50-year-old forest. It doesn't work like that. You cannot recreate an ecosystem that fast and with that accuracy. So this is the reason why I take it with a pinch of salt. I'm cutting this 100-year-old tree, but in exchange I'm planting a whole, let's say 50 saplings 50 kilometers away from here. It doesn't work like that. On top of this, there are certain more complex problems, like we talked about different countries having different environmental standards, their calculations being different, and how much carbon is being offsetted by a certain project. It's not simple to calculate. One more criticism is that, let's say there is a forest at location A and a company at location B who is polluting, a major emitter. They buy that forest and the credits that were attached to it, and they get in a way a license to pollute. The forest was always there. There is no improvement in real time. The action is just delayed. This is also one of the core problems with carbon offsetting mechanism. So I hope you understood that why a lot of people claim that carbon offsets don't really work. So I think carbon credit trading mechanism has a great potential to work and reduce emissions, discourage emissions, but only if it is regulated properly and with honesty.